All right, so we have been away for a little bit, so Alex and I have some catching up to do, especially with each other, see where we're both at, but then also catch everybody else up to speed as well. So, if you didn't know, Alex was gone. He was doing a once in a lifetime experience here, and I would love to dive into that and get to know a little bit more about his experience. I saw some pictures from social media, but that I'm sure doesn't do it justice. So, catch us up to speed, man. What happened? What was the event? What's going on?
Yeah, man. So we were talking about it a little bit before we left, and luckily we did a lot of work on the front end to make it so that anybody who likes listening to the podcast didn't have to miss out on any podcasts. But I was gone for 3 weeks. We haven't talked in probably over 3 weeks at this point,
Yeah.
actually. And so I was gone getting married in Scotland, and then we went on our honeymoon. And so we were a week in Scotland where we got married in a just an awesome castle. It was an experience of a lifetime. That was by far, obviously, my favorite part of the trip. It was just magical, really. And we planned it all from here, Marissa and I. And so it was one of those things where you don't know, right? It's like, I'd like picked the food for the day before and our wedding and like the lunches and different stuff that were going on. And you're like, hopefully it's good, right? It sounds good, but like, hopefully it's good. And hopefully everything goes off without a hitch. And it went as perfect as it possibly could. It was amazing. Everybody was able to stay in the castle for 2 nights. It's actually funny. I'll tell, so Marissa and I, we get over to Scotland and it's an 8-hour difference from where we're at. So it's like,
Yeah.
we're having troubles adjusting to it. And so one of the nights, like we had gotten in on Monday night, and then we were going, the first day in the castle was Thursday. So we had a little bit of time. We went and saw Loch Ness, which is in like the highlands of Scotland, which was beautiful. And then one of the nights we're sitting there and we're having a bottle of wine in the room. And like, I look at Marissa, I'm like, you want to go? Like, are you tired right now? It was like midnight, or it was actually, I think it was after, or yeah, it was like midnight or something like that. I was like, are you tired? And she's like, no. I was like, what do you say we go explore some of the bars around here? It was like a Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
It was the Tuesday before. And so we go and we find this place that's like a block away, right? And they have live music. Like we go down, this guy's playing for like 4 girls, right? It's like
Mhm.
that nobody's there. It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And so we grab like some wine and we're just sitting there listening to this guy. He's awesome. And these girls leave. So at a certain point, it's just me, Marissa, and this guy. And he's like, what do you guys want to hear? And we're like going back and forth. And at the end, I was like, what are you doing on Thursday night? Because at one point, we were going to get like a band for Thursday night too, or like something, like some sort of music for the night before the
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I come here at 11 p.m. I was like, well, you want to play from 8 to 10 at a castle right down right about 30 minutes out? And he's like, done. And so he
Nice.
came to play music the night before, like for our rehearsal dinner, like after
Oh,
that,
that's cool.
we were having drinks. And so it was like an amazing, just a fun little spontaneous move that we did that made it so that we had like just a guy who played, he was awesome. And then we had a
It
band.
sounds like you could kind of play whatever too, right? He was just taking requests, like whatever you want.
Yeah, so we told him kind of like what he knew, what kind of music we liked, and
Vibe.
but he was playing anything. He could play country. He played Morgan Wallen. He played Post Malone. He played,
Really?
he played like Journey, like Don't
Nice.
Stop Believing, different stuff. Like so, he had like a range of Bruce Springsteen. So
Mm.
he had a lot of different stuff. And then the band that we had on the night of the wedding. I mean, the wedding was amazing. Like just went as well as you could imagine. And then the night we had like a band as well as a rock band though, and they rocked the house. It was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think I saw pictures of that. It was like the girl lead singer. It was like a female,
Mhm.
and then the band. Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and so that
Yeah.
was wedding. The day before the wedding, everything went perfectly. Which was, I feel like you can't say that too often. Where there's
Mhm.
always like something that happens, but the castle was fantastic in coordinating everything, making sure people went to the right spot because it was like kind of a maze in there to figure out where to go.
Yeah,
And it was awesome. I wore a kilt, as you saw,
I saw
and so
that.
in Scotland fashion, wore a kilt. I had my groomsmen and also my dad and Marissa's dad wear a kilt as well. And it was cool. It was
Yeah.
like the first time I'd ever done that. And so it was like weird putting it on. And some of it's like uncomfortable, but
Uh-huh.
that's probably a little bit of just like you're renting it and it's not like fully perfectly fit to you. But
Right.
that was cool. And so that was our Scotland experience. We did that. We did St. Andrews for the golf.
I
Like we
saw that. That was cool too.
yeah, we
Took
stopped
pictures
like
on the bridge.
exactly. It was so cool. And that town is cool. I didn't realize they have a college there that's like really prestigious college
Mm.
that's beautiful. And then from there, we went to London, we went to Switzerland, and we ended in Barbados. And
Oh
so
wow.
it was
Very
that was
cool.
our honeymoon was there.
Yeah.
So
What was the vibe of Barbados? I feel like that one's gonna have slightly different vibe than the others.
way different. So
Yeah.
we were so happy we did it how we did because we did, it was a week in Scotland. Obviously, like a little bit of stress leading up to the wedding. Like, is this going to work? How is this going to go? Is there going to be issues? Just that kind of stress leading up.
Hmm.
And we were also sightseeing. So Loch Ness, like in the Highlands, that was a whole day. And then like St. Andrews, we was a tour as well. We were doing that. And so London too, a lot of sightseeing and a high paced. And for anybody who's gone over there, it's like almost like a New York kind of vibe. Not
Yeah.
as busy, but it's like very high paced, and
Hmm.
we were seeing different stuff, and like there's so many amazing sights to see: Big Ben, Tower of London, the palace,
Hmm.
all of those different things. And so we got there, and then we went to Switzerland, and that was a new experience for both of us. So Marissa had gone to London before and Scotland.
Hmm.
And so Switzerland was a place where we both hadn't gone. And so we were, figuring that out. It's French in Geneva where we were. It was German in Zurich. Like it's like they cater at the hospitality places to English, but it's like a little bit a little bit harder to navigate. But we were also sightseeing there. It's like we're seeing different things, and we did an awesome wine tour. It was such a cool experience. And then and saw this really cool museum that's been on Marissa's bucket list for a while. It was in a town called Gruyere,
Hmm.
which is actually invented like the cheese. Like it was like it's named after like that, like the cheese, Gruyere cheese.
Uh-huh.
And so that was a really cool town. They had a castle there and this like really cool bar museum that was built out of like fossils or like it
Huh.
was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then Barbados was exactly what we needed because that at that point we were about 2 weeks into the trip, and Barbados just like slowed it down because
Nice.
those first 2 weeks were just snap of a finger.
Hmm.
Then we were like, all right, we're just gonna sit on the beach by the pool, in the pool, and just relax. And so the vibes were a lot different where
Mm.
it was 50s, in the temps in Scotland, in London, Switzerland. It was chilly, and then
Mm.
in Barbados it was 90 in the
Oh
humid,
wow.
super humid.
Okay.
It's
That's
near.
kind of what I pictured. That's like what I had in mind is like they're going to transition more towards like a beach island type vibe. And then like, I wonder if it's cold, rainy, muggy, kind of like in the other places too, So it kind of was. Did you guys get any rain or anything?
Like in Scotland, you never really know when it's going to rain. So it did rain like
Hmm.
multiple times. One of the
Hmm.
days was like a wall, just like a raining the whole day. But quickly you just kind of know it's going to eventually probably rain for a little bit. And then,
Yeah.
but we had beautiful weather there. They're like, wow, you guys came at the perfect time.
Nice.
It was in the day of our wedding too. It was awesome where it was like overcast, which
Hmm.
played really well with all the pictures like of the castle and us. It's
Yeah.
like it kind of would have felt a little weird, I think, if it was like super sunny in these castle pictures. And
Sure.
so I think that worked out really cool with our pictures turning out like really, really well there as well. But yeah, I mean the vibe at Barbados was exactly what we needed. It kind of extended the trip a little bit. It felt like the first 2 weeks was like the same amount of time that Barbados was, and we were only there for like 4 or 5 days, just
Mm.
based on the feeling of that. And so
Pace is a lot slower, much more needed after a couple fast 2 weeks.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it was amazing, man. It's been an adjustment coming back. A lot of
I'm
flights, a lot of
sure.
long flights. We went 8 hours there. It's 9 hours difference in Switzerland. and then back to 3 hours difference in Barbados. And so it was like a lot of kind of body all over the place. As far as like health is concerned, I'm definitely like feel bloated. I feel like I'm like
Yeah.
you
That's
know, I,
funny. That's exactly what Katie said. She just came back from Amsterdam not too long ago,
oh,
and so
nice. Yeah.
so she had a work trip there. Had to go do some presentations with Nike and stuff, and so she came back, and that's what she said. She's like, I feel bloated, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there's an
it's
adjustment curve.
probably a mix of everything, right? Where it's like your body's like way off, right? You
Yep.
have your circadian rhythm is so thrown off, and so your sleep's off, and then like your food, right? It's just different. It's a lot better food overseas, like Europe and like
Yeah.
Scotland, London, like a lot cleaner, a lot more
Yep.
regulation when it comes to what they can actually do. Um, Switzerland was weird when it came to the food, actually, because it was
Really?
they love bread over there. I'll
Oh
tell you,
yeah.
it's like
So do
it's
I.
it was good food, but
Yeah.
it was harder to find like meat and protein sources at the
Yeah.
place. Maybe that was just the places we were at too. I'm not
That's what
sure.
she said. That's
Um,
what Katie said too. She's like, it's harder to find protein, but she's like, also with the carbs that you are eating, they're a lot better quality, like a
yeah,
lot higher quality.
of course. And so, yeah, I mean, we like just to kind of recap, I guess some of the things I was telling you before is like I didn't really work out a lot, which is cool. Like I kind of went in with that expectation that I wasn't planning on doing too many workouts. We were walking so much. We
Yeah,
probably averaged like 15,000 steps. Like we're doing
crazy.
that. So at the end of the day, when you're doing that much walking, you don't really need too much of the workout side anyway. You're exhausted. You're seeing stuff. We were eating pretty quality stuff. Like you said, like the quality of food is better. We drank a lot of wine,
Hmm.
which is good. You gotta, win on honeymoon. Right?
Hmm. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's about all I got, man. It was like literally the best trip ever by a mile. Right?
Yeah.
It was a great experience. I can't actually believe that we did that because it started as Sedona.
Oh yeah.
About 2 months in to our relationship, we went to Sedona. It was our first time away, and Sedona was like, at that time we're like, this is where we're gonna get married. We actually created a playlist called Sedona 2025, and I forget where it ended up shifting. I think we are like, everybody gets married in Sedona.
Yeah.
Let's do something different, and then it shifted to Scotland, and then our playlist shifted to Scotland 2025,
Ah,
and at a certain point we just started planning it, and then it became a reality, and it turned out to be better than I could have ever imagined. But enough
yeah.
about enough about me.
It sounds like you would it sounds like you would recommend it though too. Like it sounds like almost
Oh
a 10
yeah,
out of a 10. Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, even not even just the marriage aspect.
Right.
It's not cheap, obviously, to go overseas, and it's also a lot to ask. Like we understood that we were asking a lot from the people that we invited,
Hmm.
and that we were so grateful of the 19 people that joined us, family and friends
Oh
that
wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
spent a good amount of money to come celebrate with us and support us over there. So we do greatly appreciate everybody who did, but
Yeah.
it is a lot to ask. Like we know that we weren't expecting anybody to come. We're like, if it's just like the parent, like the parents and
Yeah.
like siblings and stuff like that. But I would just recommend like going like over there, right? Like it was a great experience to see the different cultures. Scotland was my favorite place by far. It was
Mm.
amazing. The people there are so nice. It's cool to see. This is also in London. I think it's just the UK in general, and maybe it's Europe as a whole. But like the seemed like the Scottish and the like the British people in general, like Scotland, London, they know a lot about their country and their history, which is really
Mm.
cool. It's like everybody you talk to, whether it was a taxi driver or a tour guide or whatever, like they had so much knowledge on like the history of everything there, which I thought
Yeah.
was really cool because I don't think that's the case here. I at least as far as I've known, I don't know a lot about the history, and a lot of people I know don't know a lot about the history.
Yeah. Yeah. What about okay? So, what are your biggest three takeaways from the last 3 weeks? I know it's probably hard to narrow it down to that, but even just the first three that come to mind. What are the biggest takeaways from your trip?
When you say that, what do you like takeaways from?
They could be like favorite things. They could be things that stood out to you that were like super fun that you enjoyed. Like it could be
Okay,
really anything.
I like that. I'm gonna
And
go
it,
more with the favorite stuff.
yeah.
First off, like my favorite thing was obviously the wedding, like getting
Hmm.
like marrying, even though we were already married, like it felt like the real like wedding, right? We did it in a courthouse last year, but this was like this was our wedding.
Yeah.
So it was it was such an amazing, like emotional experience. Um, like it was better than I'd ever thought possible. So that was number one by a long shot. And then the other two uh, things. So God, it's really hard to narrow it down because we did
I
see a
know.
lot of really, really cool stuff. Um, there, like one thing that does stand, there was this really, I mentioned this wine tour that we did. It was in Geneva, and it was
Hmm.
like out just on the countryside. That was just a really cool thing that we did where it was just a private tour where it was Marissa and I in the back of, it was almost like a faster, like bigger golf cart, and he had like it was like a table there and these like two areas like where you had like wine. They would hold your wine glass, right? And then
Hmm.
he had like a bottle of wine there for us, like, well, what kind of wine do you want? And we went to this winery that was just right outside of Geneva,
Hmm.
and we were able to have like cheese and like on the thing there, and he's like talking to us about like different things, pointing stuff out. And then we got to try all their wine there and see their winery, which is just beautiful. I mean, Switzerland is immaculate with all of the views and just like how beautiful that their scenery is around there, and their
Hmm.
like the hills and the mountains and the Alps and stuff like that. But that was like a really cool experience there. And then I mean, I loved everything in London, and all the like we did a bar, like a historic pub crawl, which was really, really cool as well. But I loved that. I think that one of my favorite things is that we ended in Barbados.
Yeah.
Right, it was a great experience. I'd never been to the Caribbean,
Hmm.
um, but it was a beautiful, beautiful area. We were at a Sandals, so it was like an all inclusive, and we had a really good experience there. And it just slowed stuff down. It was nice to do it how we did, where it required a lot of flying, but it was it really like was allowed us to kind of like take a breath and slow things down and like re enjoy the whole trip and look back at our wedding and kind of just be able to kind of just hang out for a little while.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. And I'm sure you could have probably listed 50 plus things right now. So this was just the first three that came to mind, like
Yeah, yeah,
no
exactly.
particular order, right? Like, so that's awesome to hear, man. It looks like you got a little bit experience of a couple different, even cultures, but even history going to each place. And then it sounds like you guys kind of capped it off just with more of like an island vibe. You can almost kind of just take a deep breath and just soak everything in. So it sounds like the order in which you guys did things in was really good too. And that's crazy because you think about sometimes, like, for example, if you go to Sedona, right, or anywhere in the US, and some people are like, oh man, this place is beautiful, we should get married here. That's very cool. And like a lot of people do it that way. You guys went sight unseen. I mean, you guys are looking at stuff online, right, and being like, okay, well, this looks cool, this looks great, like I guess we'll pick this food, this sounds really good. And so you're making decisions based on having not been there at all, and then it sounds like it even met or even exceeded your expectations, which was really cool. Sometimes that's very rare, right? Like people are just like, oh man, I see one thing, I'm expecting this, and then we show up and maybe it isn't as what you expected, or maybe it's like you're kind of let down a little bit. But man, it sounds like you guys had an amazing time, which is great, man. I'm happy for you guys. That's awesome. Super cool. It sounds like you'd recommend it, right? Just going
Oh,
there, not even for the marriage purposes.
yeah,
That's cool too. That's great. But
definitely go there.
yeah.
Any of those places, I would say if I were to rank, it's tough to rank them, but like I like Scotland definitely. If you haven't gone there, like oh wow, like it
Hmm.
is amazing. London is fantastic. They have the tube down there. It's like their train system that you
Transportation. Yeah.
and it's you can get anywhere without a vehicle. It's really really nice.
That's cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff to see there as well, and everything goes through London. So it's like if you want to get places in Europe, it's like you kind of or like elsewhere, it's like you kind of got to go through London or
Yeah.
Amsterdam. Like those kind of are the two hubs there.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I would recommend all of it. We definitely on the next pod got to catch up with you. This was
Yeah.
this was kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
all.
No,
And
man, that's what that was the intention. We had to, you only get to do this pod one time, really, right? So we wanted to kind of just make sure it was fresh in the mind, get it all out there. And I wanted to hear everything too. Selfishly, I
yeah.
wanted to hear how it was. So it was awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate you guys listening to this one. Hope you enjoyed it. All we ask is that you subscribe from us and share our pods that you do enjoy and have value from with somebody that you know, that you love, that could benefit from it. So we appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of the day, and we will be talking to you soon.